Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Just you all are doing good. React with an emoji if you can hear me, please. Is it only Victor that is in this class? Hello. Any other
Hello,
person aside Victor, please react.
hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, our tutor.
Good afternoon. We can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Amazing. Have you also Victor? Have you also reminded your classmates that lectures us started already?
Yes, I have done that.
Give. Oh, okay. I've actually given a 10 minutes break, and I think that is fair because we actually have a lot to cover. This week, right? So I think we should just go straight right into what we have for the week. So for week two, we'll be covering product discovery, user research, and then problem identification. So this is what we'll be covering for week two. So starting with product discovery first before user research and problem identification. So product discovery framework. Um, I wanted to ask this question, but don't worry. Let's just go straight into it. Cool. Um, product discovery. We said, please, if you cannot hear me or you have a question, you can just raise your hand in the. Just raise your hand. It makes this notification sound. I'll definitely check. Right. Okay. So what did we say product discovery is? Over here, I said it's the ongoing process of identifying and validating the right problem to solve, ensuring that the product meets users' needs and aligns with business goal, unlike a one-time research phase. In your product discovery phase, there's always a continuous discovery integrates. There's always a continuous discovery integrates that integrates with users' feedback into every stage of your development to reduce risks and then improve decision making at the same time. So one thing about product discovery and user research is the fact that your user research you just do it one time and that is it. But product discovery it's a non-stop process. It is a continuous thing. Today you are doing it, tomorrow you get to figure out one thing about something and then you need to gather up information, right? So, why does product discovery really matter to you as a product manager? Right. One, the digital landscape changed rapidly, requiring constant adaptations. For example, in the likes of WhatsApp now, what WhatsApp started with was just a chat feature where you just send messages to. Right. But currently, we have. Please mute your mic. You are distracting me. So what we currently have on WhatsApp now, we have edit message, we have video call, we have voice call, we have um status, all of those things. Before it was not like that, right? It was only just to send and receive message. So one thing for you, why product discovery really matter to you as a product manager is you will continue to always get feedback from people. People will tell you the things they wish the product has, right? And then because of the whole rapid change too that's also happening in the digital landscape, you would want to make sure that your product is meeting up with the standard. Imagine if currently the whole world is using video call and voice call and then WhatsApp is not using it. Nobody would have been using WhatsApp today. Maybe we'll be using Telegram because Telegram has it, right? So it really matters for you to have for your product to have that constant adoption from your users. Another thing why product discovery matters is because it helps business avoid building features that users don't need or want. Mind you, we said it's a continuous discovery phase, right? So you are speaking to users. Once you speak to users, you know what your user wants, right? Compared to when you don't speak to users, you don't get any feedback about maybe your product or like the the lands the industry, for example. Let's say it's an edtech industry. You don't if you don't um you continue to build things that enhance the industry and then your product, because you are consistently speaking to users and people are telling you what they need and what they don't want. Another thing why product discovery is very important, it drives innovation by continuously uncovering or meet needs and opportunity. This is when you speak to users, you get to know um their pain points really, right? If you're a product manager, you build products and you think that that is the end of it, you don't want to collect feedback from your users. I'm sorry, your product is going to go to the client stage very, very, very quick, because all the products we are using today, it's our feedback that is literally making them better. It might not be you sending that feedback, it might not be you sending the feedback to them, but the product manager conducts interview with their target audience, with their users that are using the product. And based on whatever these users are telling them, those are the things that um, they get to use to drive innovation for their products. So over here, I said a fintech company regularly interview customers to understand their financial struggles, leading to development of a micro saving feature that helps users round up their purchase and save small amounts automatically. So if you think this example now, if this fintech company was not regularly interviewing their customers, they will not even know that their customer have financial struggles. But because of they were able to interview these customers, now they know that there's a problem. What is the problem for their customers? Financial struggles. Now that you understand your users' pain points or problems, what's the solution you offer to them to solve it? That's why this fintech company now came up with developing what a micro saving futures that would help them save money, right? So techniques to identify and validate user problems through user-centric approach. Yeah, in as much as it is very important to do this your product discovery, because your product discovery you're continuously making research, right? To understand your target audience problems and then come up with possible solution for them. So in as much as you want to do all of these things, there's a special there are ways you need to be able to identify ways to validate this problem, because it's not every problems that your user tell you you would validate, right? So the now we said what is a user problem. A user problem refers to the challenges, inefficiencies, or unmet needs that user experience while trying to achieve a goal. So these problems can be functional, e.g., a confusing interface. It could be emotional, which is example of an emotional problem would be frustration with a slow process. Another example of user problems could be it could be a social one. So example of social problem is lack of trust in service, right? So identifying these issues is very crucial to creating a solution that add real value to the users. So over here I listed some examples of user problems, which is difficult navigation, slow load time, complex onboarding process. When I mean complex onboarding process, let's say you just signed into an app and then you they're just asking you to do one or two things that it is very tedious. Maybe when you sign up on some app, they'll tell you that you have 5 steps. All right. So now imagine that this product you sign up on a new app and then the onboarding process is, let's say for example, they did not even put the 5 step. Well, you have done like 10 different things to enter inside the product to like on board, and then you're still not on board. It is very frustrating, right? Especially when they're even asking you for some questions that are not even necessary. All of these things are what we're referring to complex onboarding process, right? I think instance for me for a complex onboarding process will be when I wanted to get access to my GP. So I'd used GPay before, then I stopped using it for like a year, and then I wanted to come back in. I think they sort of like did some um it's like call it renovation or something on their product, and I needed to submit something. I submitted that thing just to use their product, and then for like more than 3 days I was asked to wait. It was really frustrating because without that thing, without them approving that thing, I cannot even enter the product to use it. Right. So all of those things are um user problems. Another thing is hidden fees or costs. So to be unexpected charges will lead to abandoned checkout or lost trust. So imagine you bought something now, you've calculated all the money, based on, let's say you picked 5 items, you've calculated everything, and then the sum is 50,000 naira, right? Maybe say 10,000 naira. And then you now want to finally check out the whole thing, and then you're now seeing 67,000. How? It's a problem for you because you start wondering, why is this thing 67,000? And then they're not even telling you why it is 67,000. If they even tell you, maybe they say taxes or something, it's another different thing, and maybe delivery fee. But they did not tell you anything. You just see 67,000 there. That's a user problem, right? Another one will be inefficient search functionality. So users struggle to find specific products or information. It's another user problem. I think Google is really getting better in this thing. But before now, you want to make research on something, you just search for one thing, and when you see plenty tons of information, then you have to start clicking each links to get the actual information. You'll be going back because the link you clicked is not actually giving you the answer you want, right? And the customer support delay too is another form of user problems, because remember I told you the problems could be functional, emotional, or social. So unclear product information too is a user problem, and then limited payment option. So yeah, so I have this diagram here. You can also use a journey map. So I call it customer journey map, right? To understand your user problem. Before I go through the diagram, I said a customer journey map visually represents a customer's experience with the product or service, highlighting key interactions and potential pain points. These maps are instrumental in identifying areas where customer may face challenges, allowing business to address them on time. Let me put on time there. It's not written here, but to allow business to address those issues on time and then improve the overall experience. So before a customer purchase an item from you, of course the customer is going to make research about the item, right? So from this diagram, the red stuff indicates the pain point, and then the green stuff indicates the green one. So this is Anna Smith. So we want to do a customer journey map for Anna Smith's shopping experience. She wants to purchase a clothes, right? First thing first, she wants to search for the dress. What Anna wants to have, what's the positive experience for Anna when um finding a dress is she wants to find a dress on the online store. Like, she has come to this your website. Maybe you have an e-commerce website, she has already come there. The goal for her is she wants to find a dress on your store. Our pain points, which is a negative experience, would be looking for cheap. So looking for cheap items, and then sizes not available. So let's say Anna wants a dress, right, from your store. But the things she would want to see there is she's looking for a cheap items. That's one thing Anna wants. But if Anna does not see that cheap item, it becomes a problem for Anna. It becomes a user problem for Anne Smith. And then let's say she sees the cheap item and then her size is not there. It is another problem for Anna. A positive experience here would be based on how she's searching for these clothes. She wants to filter her search by size. Right? Let's say she wants to filter her sizes, her search by okay size, so that size 10 and size 8 will not be mixing and then she'll be scrolling. She just want to go to size 8 and then just figure that out. But let's say she's size 8 and then she got like a very limited variations of size 8, and I will not be happy, right? She would also be unhappy about what the limited listing. Positive experience for Anna in her discovery phase will now be she wants to find an item but needs to talk with the customer service. She needs to talk to the customer service. She needs to find an item. Sorry, I got distracted. My mom. Find an item but needs to talk to the customer service. So just imagine now that Anna could not get a customer service, like maybe they took so much time in responding to her. That's a negative experience for Anna. If she hears from the customer service because she needs to talk to them, and then she did not get a her. Of course, if she hears, maybe she wants to ask the customer service something about this size, what is the fabric like or something. They're able to answer her, and then she would be able to select her dress on time. And then if because of she got a fast response, and then phew, voila, she went to purchase the dress. But if the customer service were not available, Anna cannot purchase that dress because there are situations whereby we want to buy something quite all right, but you need to be very sure about the particular information before you buy it. So if there are no customer service to give you that information, it's delay purchase, and then what happens to the business? You might not get the money or you might lose the money. Right. So that's what this diagram is just talking about. You write out all the positive experience that um a user is going to experience on your products. You want them to find a dress, you want them to filter the search by sizes, you want them to find the item, and maybe they need to talk to a customer service. You provide the customer service to them, and then from there they can select the dress or purchase. Now, all these positive things you have written, you will now ask yourself, what will be the negative thing of that positive thing? Do you get? So once you are able to identify the negative things of that positive things, you will now look for how you are going to make sure that these negative things don't even happen at all. That is why I said it allow business to address the problem on time and improve the overall experience of a user. Are we following? Do you guys understand? Do you understand?
Yes, ma.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
So what are the techniques? Okay. So there are certain techniques to identify um this user problem, because now we've been able to talk about the user customer journey map. We want to identify a problem now. How do we even identify this problem? One way you can identify a problem is by conducting user interview. So user interview is gaining what a deep insight into your customers' frustrations, motivations, and pain points. When you do interview with people, right? I know it's very sometimes it can be very exhausting, but it will help you understand your users' frustration very, very well, right? Compared to survey itself. Just that it just depends on whatever research you're actually making, like whatever problems you are trying to identify. There's some problems that if you want to identify them, online interview is not the best for you, right? The best for you is to do what user interview. And then your online surveys, I mean, sorry, not online interview, online surveys. So your online survey basically is to just collect what is structured feedback at a scale. You want to know how many people want this thing. When you skip, I'm sure you guys have received surveys now where they'll ask you to fill something. Those things basically is, let's say, for example, people want to build a product and then they want to know if people will even use the product. That's why we say we collect structured feedback. So you want to know the numbers of people that want something or not. Maybe based on how the numbers come in now, you get to know, okay, oh, let's do this or let's not do this. Then we have usability testing. So what usability testing is all about is another way to identify user problems. So usability testing is observing users interact with a product to identify usability issue. Remember in our previous class, I said the only goal of a product manager is of a product, I mean, is product usage. So you need to be very sure that people even know how to use your product. So with usability testing, what does is you watch people interact with your product to know if they even understand and can use it. If they cannot use it, you see how slow they are in certain things, and then from there you cannot make decision that okay, oh, this button that I kept here, let's take the button up, because putting it at the down, people don't even see it. It's only at the up people put it. Your WhatsApp, your software products, they all do usability testing, right? Because they need to know that this thing that we have built, oh, the user really understand it. The edit feature now, for example, I think for our parents now, it will take a while for them to know that there's an edit feature. But we now, we've been able to identify that there's an edit feature somewhere. And how do we know? Because we just press, if you want to press on your messages for long, your WhatsApp messenger, you see a different variation of things, they will pop out. Right. So WhatsApp is able to identify that people, if no matter, because that thing is not visible now, it is sort of hidden, but we know that that is where that thing is. So you need to be able to build something that people know how to use it. Imagine we did not know where edit feature is, but there's actually an edit feature on WhatsApp, and then we didn't know how to use it. That means the feature is literally useless if people don't use it, right? So you need to be able to observe how people interact with it. I'm sure that edit feature now, before they put it out there, right? They gathered a group of set, because you what usability testing does is it's not like online surveys that you just give everybody to do use it all. No, you gather a particular set of people and then just watch them use the product, right? And then we have heat map and session recording. So what this one does is visualize user interaction to spot confusion points. It's very, very similar to usability testing too, as well. You just want to see how people use something and then understand how, if they're confused about something. Because I've done an interview whereby on a edge tech app. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, I just thought to ask because I've actually okay. Let not be like my network. Have issue. Okay. So your heat map and session recording is very similar to usability testing, right? But on heat map basically is to just even spot the confusion. That the people even know that this thing will solve this problem. It's not all about, it's not even about usability. Today, are they confused about how we built this thing? So I've built a product whereby we built a study plan future on an edtech app, and then we gave it to people to, you know what, create a study plan for yourself, and then they don't even know how to create a study plan, because where the whole study plan thing, it was hidden. So we're able to spot the confusion that they don't even know. It's not like they don't know how to create a study plan, but they don't know what to press to even create the study plan in the first place. Right. And then your customer support and review analysis can help you identify what recurring user complaints from support tickets and review. Yeah, just the way you report to your OP and the likes now when your money is hanging. They don't throw all those things away. All those things that you're telling them, they don't throw it away. They keep them. Those are support. They actually keep them. And then when they keep them, as a product manager, you collect your support tickets, and then what you have to do is to identify any recurring user complaints. Let's say now you complain about, oh, my money hang. This person did not get my money in 5 days. Oh, it's 5 days now. This person did not get my money. And let's say like other 10 people also make the same complaint. The product manager will know that this is an issue, something is happening at the back end, and then based on your complaints now, because it's a recurring thing between multiple people, they would now want to look into it and then solve the problem. There's another thing called social listening. So you monitor conversations about your brand's competitors online. So my products now, for instance, I am so concerned about stuffs online that I am even following my competitors on Instagram. I'm always reading their reviews on App Store. I am just making sure that if they say something about negative about our competitors brand, I'm rushing to my to go and work on that thing so that sorry, I will get back to you, Victor, so that it doesn't so that my products get to solve that problem fast, and then people will come to my own product instead of my competitors' products. So that's what social listening is. And then another thing is competitor analysis. So it's another way you can use to identify problems, user problems. So what you do is identify gaps by analyzing how competitors solve user problems. Or that's the same thing I do. Like I'm always on my competitors app. I use my competitors app a lot. I'm always trying to, how did they do this thing? How did they do this thing? So that I'm going to put that same energy to in my product. It's not like I'm copying them, but the way it works is I look what my competitors are doing and then I start to ask myself, what are the things I can do better than this one? And you know the way the mind work now, when you start to go deeper into something, ideas and tips start to come in. Victor, please go ahead. Victor, Victor, your hands were raised. Your hands were raised.
Um, I was going to call your attention to your. At some point, your line was breaking. The call was breaking, but it's fine now. I think I was not sure if it was from my end.
Oh, okay. Did any of you lost me during the whole process? Or is Victor's network?
I think it's Victor's network.
Okay.
Okay.
So I gave an example here of how we can identify problem, right, using an educational platform. So the problem here is students sign up for online courses but do not complete them. So why does this even matter to you as a product, as a company? If people are signing up for a course and then they're not completing it, why it will matter to you as a business is people would not engage on the platform. And then if they're not engaging, what happens? It reduces subscription renewal because people will not pay money for that courses. And if it reduces subscription renewal, you will not have money because it's only from the subscription that they make money, right? What is the possible cause of people not um completing their courses? So it could be lack of motivation, overwhelming content, or poor course structure. So let's assume this possible cause, right? It's not like this person just knew them. No, the person just, let me tell you how it works. You have built your product, and then let's say you expect 1,000 people to sign up in your product in the first week, and then yes, let's say 800 people sign up on the platform for a course, but let's say that course is supposed to be for 1 month. It is the third week, and then those 800 you all 800 people that were able to sign up for the course, it is only 50 that complete, 750 did not complete. Of course, you'll be very curious and be like, why are people not signing up on this my course? Why are people not signing? Sorry, please let me just pick this call. It's very important. Okay, sorry, please. And then you are going to be very concerned that 750 did not complete the course. If 750 users did not complete the course, what's the problem for you? You will not get subscription money because your subscription money comes in, let's say, every month, and then there's not even engagement on the product. So you're going to feel worried about it, right? And then the next thing you want to do is, but why are they not completing their course? That's the next thing you start to ask yourself. Why are they not completing it? And let's say you decide to do maybe any of these um methods to identify problem. Maybe you decide to do user interview, online survey, actually one of them, or maybe your customer support review analysis. You let's say you want to use any of these to identify the problem. And then from those ones, maybe one of them that you used, you now discover that your users actually don't have the motivation, or they are overwhelmed, or there's a poor cost structure. Then based on this problem now, you start to think, how can I make this better? Right? What is the possible solution I can do to solve this problem? That is when um you'll be introducing what gamification, progress tracking, and bit size learning. So once you provide this solution now, there is a you also still watch how people use it, right? You need to watch how people use it such that people will be able to complete their courses. Sorry, I need to ask you guys a quick question. Did did you guys get recordings for last week class? Like for this second week class, did you get recording?
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay, okay. Apologies
No,
for
it was
that.
not.
Please, that's okay. That's why I'm actually taking my time to really, really explain. I was not able to record the class session, but I thought
Uh,
Christopher was he wants to
yeah,
do so.
can I speak?
Yes, please.
The recording was posted on the Dive Africa YouTube channel.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So are you saying there was a record? That means Christopher sent a recording for this week class.
No, no, no. There was no
But
recording. The
he
uh,
sent you a YouTube link. Did he?
he didn't actually, but we all got the link during the very first, like, the onboarding session, the general onboarding. Yeah, we were informed about it.
Oh, okay. So did you go through it before this class?
No, I meant the last class we had, not this one we are going through now. The
Okay,
last live
okay,
session, yeah.
okay. I get it. Because I'm trying to take my time to explain this because I know that there was no recording for the past few days. Okay. Um. So yeah. So that is it for identifying your users problem, right? We'll also talk about validating it. But before that, let's talk about your product market fit. What is it and how to achieve it? So product market fit will say this occurs when a product effectively meets the needs of a clearly defined customer segment. A clearly defined customer segment. So if you are building a product and then you are aiming it for everybody, I'm sorry, you don't have a clearly defined customer segment, because everybody is not your customer, right? Leading to a strong demand, high retention, and organic growth. The piggy vest we are seeing today, they have high retention because they were able to they have a clearly defined customer segment, right? All of these products we use today, they have a clearly defined um customer segments. So, what are the indicators for a product market fit? User continuously choose your product over competitors. There are some of us here today, we cannot, no matter what you tell us, we cannot use Telegram. We would always pick WhatsApp over Telegram. So if users are picking your product over your competitors, because even the company we know that the users are picking their product more than the competitors, it's could tell that your products have reached what a product market fit, right? You're having high engagement and retention rates, and then word of mouth referrals and organic growth. We'll see it on Twitter where people will just post something like, "This piggy vest don't help me save 1 million naira." Those are word of mouth. And the fact that, let's say, somebody is not using piggy vest now saw that post, the person will like, this thing help you save 1 million naira. Let me see, let me just go and try it. Before you know, that person too has gone and sign up on the product. So the moment when people have started talking about your product, they are praising your product outside, right? It means that your product has also achieved market fit. Because when you build product, you need to make sure that your product reach market fit. As a product manager, if your product does not reach product market fit, there's a problem, because it's obvious that people are not choosing your products. It's obvious that you don't have engagement and you're not able to retain users. It's obvious that nobody's even spreading your preaching about your products to others. So signs your product hasn't, yes, this is it. So signs that your product hasn't achieved product market fit, low user retention and high churn rate. People will not be using your products. People will be declining. Today they come, maybe before they will use your product again, maybe it's after 3 months. They will know that you exist. Like me now, Telegram. If you see me on Telegram, I used to even uninstall the app on my phone. If you see me download Telegram today, maybe somebody wants me to go and check something there, or I need to do something there, or maybe a course that I took, they just want to gather up the people there or something, right? So weak word of mouth and referral. If anybody's talking about your product, it's obvious that your product has not achieved market fit, because nobody even know your product. Not to talk of them preaching about it. And then we're struggling to convert free users to paid customers, especially for those products that maybe use premium versions, right? If you are not able to, let's say you're not able to get, let's say 50 to 60% of your customers to 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 be paid customers, then there's an issue, right? And then high customer acquisition costs. So what this is about is for you to, let's say you run an ads now, for you to be able to even bring people to come and use your product, you have to go and do ads, like spend money on ads before people will even come. When you even calculate the money of the ad set, maybe you want to do ads of 15 naira per person, right? And then by the end of the day, you are spending 17 naira per person to come use to even know about your product. And then even with how this person even know your product is not even using it, right? And then we have low engagement metrics, which it's very your major future, people are not even engaging with it. Let's say WhatsApp now. If people they build status features and people are not using it, that's really a low, that will be a low engagement metrics. And then another type signs that product hasn't reached market fit is sales are stagnant or declining, and then it's market ignorance. Nobody send your products. That's like another word. So if you want to achieve product market fit, what are the things you need to do? First thing first, you need to identify a high value problem that users are willing to pay to solve. Just like the way we gave instant about the drill the drill hole, and then the drilling rig, right? People don't really care about how you solve the problem for them, but it is people don't really care about maybe the methods you use to solve the problem. They just want their problem solved, right? And if their problem is solved, they're willing to pay money for you. So if you want your product to reach market fit, one thing you first need to do is make sure that whatever problem you're even solving should be a very high value problem that I can pay my money for it. It's just like a let me give you, let's say, Piggyvest now and Tracker. Tracker is a budget tracking app. Even if the money is very low, Tracker was collecting 500 naira per month. What Tracker does is help you track your finances, right? But people were not willing to pay. Nice idea, nice product, but people were not willing to pay because just to check my money, just to track my money, and then you're collecting this money. It was not really a high value problem like that for some certain people compared to, let's say, Piggyvest now, where I want to save my money. These people are saving my money and then they're giving me interest on it. Then if you want to achieve a product market fit, another thing you want to do is to develop an MVP to test your assumption quickly. So when people say MVP, a lot of people like to bombard a lot of futures into their MVP. But like it's called minimum viable product. What is the minimum thing? The smallest thing that you can make money from it and can solve people's problem, right? Create that first, develop that, and then give it to people to test your assumption quickly. If that thing you're even saying makes sense. I was even doing a series on my TikTok page about this whole MVP thing, how founders can easily how you can easily test your assumption quickly. You don't have to build 10 futures. Unfortunately, I stopped. Content is not for me. And then we have gather feedback and iterate based on real world usage. So you've been able to test this your assumptions, gather all the feedback people are giving you, and then based on this feedback, create possible solutions and then give it back to people again, right? To continue to that's so you continue to iterate it, right? Based on the real world usage data, and then scale only after achieving a strong market pull. So people will not even scale. They will not when they scale, they've not even reaching a strong market pull. Maybe their market pull is still light, but they will be scaling, which does not even make sense. So I gave an example of Slack. The Slack all of us are using today, what they wanted to do was to originally target gamers. That's what they wanted to do, right? But when they um did their research and everything, they now pivot to serve workplace communication because they realize that this game thing that we want to do, it is not really a high value problems to people. So they looked for an high value problem, which was workplace. There's a lack of communication between workplace. So they were like, instead of going towards game, let's pivot into the workplace communication. You can see after discovering a stronger demand for team collaboration too, right? So when they realized that team collaboration too was very important, they let me say they killed their um game whatever idea and then focus on team collaborations. So yeah, so examples of products that have reached market fit. These are Nigerian products. I said Piggyverse, Carrywise, Paystax, and Chowdeck. So this is how your product market fit pyramid looks like. Um, from the top to the bottom, right? UX means user experience. Once you understand your user experience, you want to come up with features that will meet your user experience and then create a proper value propositions. Once you're able to get those things, then it goes to the market because that is all for the product. Now, when it gets to the market, it gets to your undeserved needs, that's users' undeserved needs, and then you're giving it to your target customers. So over here, I have some few questions to ask. What do you think is the most common reason products fail? I just need two people to please give me answer to that. Are you able to see my screen? Oh my god. Why is it not showing? Okay. Can you, you guys
Yeah,
be
it just
hearing me?
went off now. Yep.
Okay, but you can see my screen now.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so the question is, what do you think is the most common reason products fail? Oh yeah, Fumi has been talking now. It is your turn to talk. Okay, Victor.
Okay, so I think one reason why some products fail. Normally I don't think about these things before now. Yeah, but then since we started this I've had to pay more attention to these things. So I feel like one reason why products or some products fail is because they did not do enough research, or the research was not properly done. Yes.
Okay. Hi, Beatrice, please go ahead.
Okay. My answer for question one, what do you think is the most common reason products fail? To me, is that they're not solving the right problem. They're not bringing the solution for the people. What the consumers really need. They're not solving the problem. Then my question two, can you think of a
Ah,
product?
wait,
Hello?
wait. We are still in question one. We've not got to question two.
Okay. Okay, that's the answer
Okay.
for question one.
So your question one answer is what again? Please come again.
Is they're not solving the right problem that the customer needs. So
Okay.
if
They're not
I,
doing the right
for
problem.
example, now, if I should download an app, and what a while ago I downloaded the CV app, so I wanted to use it to build my CV. Then after downloading it, it's in my app store. It didn't say I will pay. So after downloading it, they requested for money for me to use the features. So I was just like, I lost interest. Then I deleted the app immediately. So they didn't solve my problem. So that's one of the reasons products can fail. If you're not solving the right problem of the consumer or customer, it will be of no use. It was of no use to me. So I just had to delete it. And I can't even tell other people about it because it was not even solving my own problem.
But which is let me say something about this, your response. If you had paid that money to that for that product, do you think it's
I,
going to solve the problem or not?
I can't say because I've already lost trust in them. Because one, they didn't specify that I will have to pay. So I downloaded it because I thought it was free, because it was not indicated that there's a fee attached to it. So I don't even have trust for that particular product again. There was no trust. So I can't even proceed to pay
And they
my
did
money.
not give you anything like
Because if I pay my
freemium.
money and still yet I can't achieve what I wanted to achieve. So it's of no use to me. I'll be at the loss side.
Okay, I get you. So they did not give you anything like freemium, like maybe use this thing for 7 days free and then pay. They didn't do all of those things too.
The thing was this: under the app, when I read through about it, there was no specification that there's premium or something and something like that. There was
Oh,
none. It was just
okay.
like you just download it, then you have to be using it, blah 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 blah. So that was the main reason I downloaded it. Me now coming to the app, then you requested for me to pay. I was just like, no,
I
there was no
get
specification.
I get you. So I'm trying to compile the reasons why products fail. So Victor said not enough research. You said they are not solving um the problems that they are solving is not of, like, let's say, high value, right? Let me hear from Kingsley. Right, is that Kingsley? Let me see the person's name. Kingsley, please, you can speak. Kingsley, Add me.
Okay, okay. Okay, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, please go ahead.
So
You
why
want to-
do a product fail? One of the reasons why a product fail. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, one of the reasons why a product fail is that the product does not meet the market needs.
Does not meet the market needs. Okay.
So if people don't need it or they don't feel the problem strongly enough, adoption will always struggle. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I heard you.
Yes.
Cecilia, please go next.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, I think a reason why products fail is because maybe they have little to no awareness. I think awareness is like really important because there are some apps, there are some products that people mention and you'll be like, "Ah, I've never heard about this app before." So I think they are not creating enough awareness for their products. Some are even very nice and very efficient. And then, like the other lady said, I think price is also something that chases a lot of people, especially Nigerians. Price is something that chases a lot of them away, and that might cause a product to fail. So I'm going to say price and awareness.
Okay. Awareness. Um, Jonathan.
Okay, for me, I would say ignoring customer feedback. When businesses ignore complaints of customers, people will stop buying, especially when the complaints become too much. People notice these things. And so, for instance, to give an example, an online store, maybe Temu or any other online store, popular online store people buy from. When someone buys something and the person was not happy with the service and complains, and the online store doesn't address it, then it can push people away from buying.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Makes sense. Michael, please go next. So Michael will ask the next question.
Good evening, everyone. So, why I think brands fail is my name is Michael Nikanchi. Sorry. So, why I think brand fail is number one. Most brands they fail to solve user needs. They fail to meet user needs, and also they fail to make their messaging clear. What do I mean by that? I mean making the users understand what you are offering to them, the benefits they stand to get, right, when they are using your products. And just like what one of us just said concerning how she onboarded on an app, and then the message was not clear, so she didn't know that she was going to like pay some extra fee when it comes to like charges, and it made her to just delete the app. So messaging, clear messaging is another reason why brands fail. Thank you.
Okay, so um that's true. I agree with all of you. You guys have really said something, but I think I want to pinpoint on something Victor said. He said they are not making enough user research. One thing I want you to understand is it is very possible to even do all the possible user research and then your product will still fail. How would your product fail? If you are not communicating what you are doing properly, your product will fail. Somebody said that if you don't communicate, I think Michael just said it. If you're not communicating this thing very well, what you have built, if you cannot communicate it, that's where your value proposition come in. If you're not able to communicate, if people don't know what you are doing, your product will fail. If you're not able to create awareness, your products will fail. Right? If your research that you have even done, so if it's not solving a proper problem, like if it's not solving like a high value problem, your product will fail. So I want you to understand that yes, if you don't do enough research to your product will fail, oh, but it's possible that you do like huge user research and then your product still fail. Do you get? Then the next question was, can you think of a product that continuously improve based on user feedback, and how do they do that? Priscilla.
I
Priscilla.
think the I think the most common one is WhatsApp, because it's very obvious that they are really trying to improve their app. There are a lot of features that have been added over the years, and they are trying to improve, to get people to be more satisfied. So I think WhatsApp is like the one that I can think of, like, on the spot. So
So how do they do that? How do they improve on their products? Yes, I agree with you that WhatsApp continuously improve based on user feedback, but how do they do that? Do
uh,
you know? You don't.
I'm not really sure, because I don't think feedbacks. I don't think there's a place where they ask for feedback on WhatsApp. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Says who? Go to your setting and go to the second to the last feature is help and feedback. You can go there and
I've never
any
I've never tried the chat. So
tell them about if you have, let's say you have an issue, something is not right. Send it there. Tell them they are collecting your feedback.
okay. Well, I didn't know.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Michael, you can go next.
Okay, one app that I like, and I think the what's it called, continuously improve their feedback, is Piggyvest. And one way I think they do that is what's it called, social media hashtags, social media posts, review from their play stores, and I think in-app reviews and in-app feedbacks. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Amazing. I think I agree with you, right? Because even me, I would say Piggyverse because you could see that anytime somebody says something on Twitter, for instance, they are always listening, and you can see they're responding like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for this. I'm currently working on this." Even with their mails, they send you messages that you know that in next few days you see that something will change, right? So, have you ever used the product and felt like it doesn't solve your problem? What was missing? Michael and Priscilla, did you still want to talk? Your hands are up. Okay, Priscilla, if you want to talk, you can go ahead while I pick somebody at random today. No, 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 no. Margaret, okay. Priscilla, Margaret.
I think somebody else should go first. So I'm trying to think.
Okay,
So
okay. Margaret. Margreta. Is it okay, Margaret? Hi, Margaret. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma, I can hear you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so I want you to please answer this last question, which is, have you used the product and felt like it didn't solve your problem? If yes, what was missing?
Um, yeah, yes, I have ever used the product and I felt like it didn't solve. Okay, it didn't. It solved the half of it. Okay, before I installed, of course, I read it solves this and this and this. But then, like when I downloaded it and then I started using it, I felt like it didn't satisfy what I really needed. Like it was just half of it. Again, the main point whereby I needed it like to complete, I had again to download another another product, something like that. So what was missing is these like the product builders, when they were filling in that information that this product is for this and this. Okay, I don't want to say they lied, but their features were not to the point, like according to what I needed by that time.
Okay. Okay. Amazing. Thank you very much. Miriam Giwa, can I hear from you? Miriam Giwa, can you hear me, Miriam Giwa? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, okay. So I'd like to hear from you.
Last question. Yes, I wanted to sign an online document. So I searched for free apps that help us do that. So they said it was free. When I downloaded it, I tried to use it, but they said I had to pay for premium before I could use it. So it didn't really solve my problem. What was missing? They did not specify that I had to pay for premium before I could use it.
Okay, okay. Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Um, let's proceed. Okay, so let's talk about user research in a digital world. So here we've understand that for you to be able to identify a problem, a user problem, we've identified that these are some things you need to do. User interviews, online surveys, all of these things you can use it to identify your user problems, right? But there's something called user research. Like you need to, if you want to know your problems, if you want to be able to identify problems and even validate problems, you need to, even if you want to get to your product market fit, right, you need to conduct user research. If you don't do user research, you will not be able to do all of those things. You'll not be able to identify your problems. You'll not be able to validate your problems. You'll not even be able to get to the product market fit stage, right? So, I'm sure by now we all know what user research is, right? But let's first discuss something about what is even a user, because I want you to understand that there's a difference between a user and a customer. They are not the same thing. Let me even ask. So, what's the difference? Do you have any idea between a user and a customer? Okay, Kinsley.
Okay, a user is a one time person, while a customer is a repeated user.
What did you say?
A user could
I
be
didn't hear
someone
you.
just trying to navigate through the product, while a customer is. Can you hear me now?
Please
Hello.
come again. What did you say?
I said the user is an individual that might just decide to interact with the app or product, while a customer is someone that
Am I the
repeatedly
only one that is
use
not
an app
hearing
or
you?
product always.
Am I
I've
the
been
only one
talking. I don't know.
um that cannot hear him clearly? Or is my network?
I can hear him. It's very loud and clear. Maybe it's from your network.
It's my network, man.
I've been talking and okay.
Ah, sorry, your
Can you
voice
hear
is
me
really
now?
breaking.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry, come
How about
again
now? Can
again.
you hear
Let's
me
see
now?
if I can hear you. So yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can
So
hear
what I'm
you.
saying is that a user is an individual who interacts with a product or an app. Could just be one-time user, while a customer is someone who interacts with the app or a product over time, continuously. Did you hear me? Hello, I can't hear anything on the call. Oh. Is anyone saying anything?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I think it's a network.
Okay, okay. I thought I was the only one like couldn't hear anything. I think this is a network. Our network is having issues.
Yeah. I think she's out of the call at the moment. I'm just wait for her to get back.
Hello, so sorry, I lost my network. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm so sorry, I had to switch network.
Okay.
So can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. So Kingsley was speaking. Kingsley, I am so sorry. Last time, please. I promise you. Hopefully.
Yeah, I was.
Okay, so can you proceed? Sorry. So what's
Okay, okay. What I was saying is can you hear me?
yes, I can.
Okay, I said a user could be an individual who is just going through the app or trying to know more about the app, while a customer is a repeated user that has mastered the app over time and all.
Hmm.
Or a
Interesting.
frequent user of the app.
Interesting. Who else wants to try it? Oh, because you saw interact with the product. Okay. Who wants to go next? Okay. Victor.
Okay, so a user, I think a user is someone who let's take a paid or a subscription based product as an example. A user might be someone who uses like the free version of that product, and then a customer is one who subscribes to that product.
Hmm. Another interesting definition. Okay. Priscilla, how about you?
I think a user is somebody that uses the products, like interact. Let me use the word interact. But the customer might not necessarily be a user, in the sense that the customer is the person paying for the app, for the product, but it might not necessarily be the one to use it or the one to interact with it. So, like, an example is, I want to give an example, if I'm permitted.
Yes, you can.
Okay, so let's say an example like a kids show that it is on a subscription basis. So the person paying for the show might be the parents. So that person is the customer. But the people that are watching the show is they are probably going to be children. So I think the children are the users, while the customer is the person paying, which is the parents. So that is what
Okay,
I
okay.
feel.
Amazing. So actually, Priscilla is very correct. Even me, that's like the perfect example I like to give to differentiate a user and a customer. I like to use a mother goes to the market to buy a toy for her child. The mother is the customer. The child, because it's not the mother that will play with the toy. The child is the user because it's the user that is the child that will interact with the products, right? So users can actually be customers because you can purchase something. Let's say we as an adult now, we can purchase it and then still use it. But customers cannot be the users. Do you understand? That's why I'll say users can be customers. I don't know if you guys understand the difference now. So when we are doing a research, we don't do the research on the customer. In likely scenarios, we get to, for like children scenarios now, we get to use the parent, but real user research for a, let's say, software products, it will be the main user, not somebody that is not using the products. Then you're now going there to make research. I don't know if you guys get my point. So have you been able to understand what a customer and then a user is? Okay, good. Let me just to read what I wrote here. So I said a user is, I mean, a user is an individual who interacts with the product, service, or system to achieve a specific goal, right? Maybe you want to purchase you want to buy a clothes, you interact with just to do on the web e-commerce website to buy the clothes because that is your specific goal, right? So your users can be customers, clients, employees, or any group of people who engage with the product for personal or professional reasons. Right. So user research, what do we understand by user research? We said is a systematic study of your target users, not just users, your target users is very important, right? Their needs, their behaviors, their pain points, and motivations to create what a user-centered product. So you need to be able to study all of these things so that whatever you are creating will be user-centered, not just any kind of product, but your user-centered product. That's your target user-centered product, right? So this involves gathering qualitative and quantitative insights to ensure that products solve real problem efficiently, effectively. So unlike assumptions or internal opinions, right, user research relies on data to guide product decision, reducing risks and increasing success rate. So in your user research, there's nothing like I think he said, he asked me to. All of those things are not, we don't use that here. What we do is we are relying focus on data. What is the numbers saying? Do they want product A or product B? Based on what we have, and we do product A or product B, you can see that it is heavily on data. That's why in startups now, I tell people Nigerian startup, I don't even understand what's happening anymore. They're not doing research. That's why products are going to decline stage easily because the CEO is just coming and saying, let's build this, let's build that, let's build this. Yeah, your ideas can be great, but if users are not the one asking you to do it, or if the idea you even ask users, okay, if we build this thing, does this make sense? And then they're still saying no, and then you build it. you're putting your product in a risky situation, right? So over here I said, why is user research important? But to ensure that you are building the right product instead of wasting time and money, because there's nothing frustrating and annoying as building products that um people will not use, because you have wasted your time in building it, you have wasted money in building it, and then people are not even using it, right? So when you do your user research, it saves you, um it helps you build the right product. Another thing is, it helps you identify pain points early, leading to better usability and customer satisfaction. Because when you do user research now, you can easily know the one that it's really a big problem for users, and then you focus on that one that is really a high value problem instead of building something that is a low value problem. I said it helps uncover new problem, market opportunities that competitors haven't even solved, right? Let's say, for example, now, Bolt and InDrive, there are maybe some certain things that Bolt have. So we know that Bolt is bigger than right? Maybe there are some certain things, because now look at it this way: InDrive is only for Nigeria, but Bolt is like, people in Europe use Bolt a lot, not just Nigeria alone. So InDrive now, when they conduct this user research, they'll be able to uncover problems that Nigerians are facing very well. That Bolt is not even looking at that opportunity. I think that's what they even do. This whole checking of price thing, because over here in Nigeria, logistics is really a problem for us, right? So they were able to uncover that problem of, I want to negotiate, because we Nigerians are already used to that negotiating lifestyle. But bolt is not only for Nigeria. The same bolt you use here, the same thing they use over there. So InDrive and Rider, they were able to uncover a market opportunity for themselves over what bolt is doing, and that's I think that was what really even helped them, like, pave their way, right? Another important is product based on user insights will drive engagement and loyalty. Yes, it will definitely do that. Imagine Piggyverse coming to ask you for some user research questions, and then in the next 3 weeks, that thing that they spoke to you about, they built it. How would you feel? Of course, you'll be very excited. You're going to use that product, that future so well, and then you're going to feel like this sense of loyalty between you and the product, because it's more like they listen to you, and then they were able to build this thing based on what you guys discussed, right? And then another importance of user research is to ensure that product decision matches market demand, maximizing profitability. So over here, I have some examples of user research in actions. The Airbnb we use today, how they did stuff was, they conducted user interview and discovered that rust was a major issue. Trust, not rust. Trust was a major issue, right? So when they discovered that trust was a major issue for their customers, what do? They introduce verified guest profile. So because they introduced this verified guest profile feature, what happens? People started booking more, because verified guest profile means they have thoroughly investigated on that person. They know the what this person can do and what this person cannot do. If anything even happen to you today, they know where to go and meet this person. He gets, so instead of like increase bookings, right, on their app, because people now sort of like get to trust the products more. And Slack too, originally built for gamers but pivoted to workplace collaboration tools after early user feedback showed a stronger demand for workplace collaboration instead of gamers. So this is what is going to happen to your product if you don't conduct a user research. You're going to be building the wrong product, which is you risk solving a non-existent problem, leading to what? Failure. You risk solving a non-existent problem, because it's not every problems that are existent, right? It's not every problem that existent. Some problems are non-existent. So if you don't conduct user research, you are going to build the wrong product. You're going to waste resources. Developing feature that users don't need. Your time and money will be wasted. right? Poor user adoption. You're going to build that future, nobody will use it because users don't relate to the product. If users don't relate to the product, they will not use it. If it's not solving their problem, they will not use. That's why I say edit future now. For our parents, they don't. It's not all of our parents that use it, right? They will because their usability sense from our own usability sense is entirely different. But there's something called scale. Maybe they did user feedback. The younger ones are more than the older ones. Of course, they will solve the problem, even though they had older people as their target audience. But because the younger ones are more and then they need it, WhatsApp will give it to us. So now, if you check, for example, let's say data analytics now on maybe like Mixpanel or Google Analytics now, if you want to check the numbers of people that are using um Edit Future, you could see that on the range now, it could be telling you that people between the age of 18 to let's say 30 years old use it more than people in let's say 50 to 70 years old. Do you see? So, if you conduct user research, you'll be able to know how users are going to adopt to a particular feature or product. All right. Another reason, what will happen if you don't conduct user research is competitive advantage. So your competitors will research better, will attract and retain more customers more than you that if you are not doing any research, right? You'll not be able to get customers because you're not doing research. You don't understand your users. And then there'll be a high customer churn. Yes, because customers will leave if they experience frustrations or meet needs. Let's say today on Piggyverse, for example, let's say there was no target saving future, right? Or let me even use a global product. Let's say today there's nothing like story on status on WhatsApp. And let's say all users have been going to um no, let me not even go far. Let's use reshare. We know that retweet started from Twitter. Before we know, we had something called repost on TikTok. We have repost on Instagram, and then WhatsApp was the only one left. But then everybody's already used to that repost thing. Like I want to repost things, and then I'm sure WhatsApp conducted research. People were already sending them, oh, I want to be able to reshare my friend's status. I don't want to be begging somebody for status. All of these things just sort of like come in place. And then they will introduce the reshare feature. Now we can reshare people's status our on our status. If I don't know, I don't see the future, but let's assume if WhatsApp did not introduce this thing now, and let's say Telegram does, for instance, and let's say Telegram also have like much user base as let's say WhatsApp, people can leave and go to Telegram because Telegram has that whole reshare or let's call it repost over WhatsApp. So if you don't conduct user research, people will leave your products if they are experiencing any frustration or met needs, right? So over here I say QB. So QB is a short form video streaming platform, right? It failed because they assumed people wanted a 10-minute premium content. They never validated if users needed it or not. They just went ahead in building it. And as a result, what happened to QB? QB shut down. And after just 6 months, they lose up to $1.75 billion. $1.75 billion, right? Because they did not validate their idea. That's to show you how risky it is if you don't conduct user research. And that's why when you guys are going into like to start working as a product manager, I beg of you, your CEO will come and be telling you, oh, let's build this, let's build that, let's build this, let's build that. I'm not saying you should not obey your CEO, but you need to also make your CEO understand that I understand that this your opinion, this is what you want, your opinion for this product, but can we conduct a user research first? If you have existing users, give it to them, ask them, right? If you are just starting a new product, conduct user research first and know if this idea self is solve if it's going to solve a high value problem or it's going to be a vitamin product. All right, please don't fall for that trap of, okay, my CEO say we should do this, and then the next thing you two, you have gone, you have started writing documentation, you have started doing user flow, you have started writing acceptance criteria, and then you're giving the work to your developers and designers. Oh yeah, let's design. It's very, very painful when you build a product. You spend so much time in building a product and then people do not use it. That is where the wasted resources come in place. It has happened. I've seen it happen in the previous work I was doing, the previous product. My CEO said we should do this. The good thing is, the good thing is, um, I was not part of the team that actually built that future, but I was part of. Before they went ahead, I told them that they should use the other product manager because we were divided into section. We should conduct user research, but they didn't. They didn't. They went ahead and building it. And because I read analytics now, I read the data every day. For 1 month, only five. It's not even up to 5 users that actually use that feature. We have to take that feature down. It happens though, even on your WhatsApp and everything. It happens. Of course, I've already explained to you guys in scenarios where people don't use future. It's not like you will feel bad or something. That's where iterative. It's a learning process, right? So what we learned from that was the importance of doing research before we build. So it's very, very important. You can see QB, they lost $1.75 billion, not millions, so billion. So it's very, very important to conduct user research, please. So over here, I said these are methods for conducting effective user research. We have online surveys. So if you want to do your online surveys, we said it is used to collect structured feedback on user preference, behaviors, and pain points. So these are some of the tools you use. Remember in our first class, I listed a lot of tools that we can use to do things. And all of these tools are even there. You have Google Form, Typeform, SurveyMonkey, and Quadri. You can use all of these to do your online surveys. Another way to conduct effective user research is by doing interviews. So interviews could be one-on-one. So provide a deep insight into user motivation, frustrations, and needs through one-on-one discussion. You can do this in person, right? You can do it on Zoom, Google Meet, user testing, right? And then we have heat map and session recording. So these are visual tools that track how user interacts with a website or app, highlighting areas of confusions or disengagement. So you can use Hotjar, Crazy Egg, or Full Story. These are tools you can use for your heat map and session recording. And then we have social listening. So you monitor social media platforms for user discussion about a brand or industry trends. So you can use your brand watch, sports social or Hootsuite. So the way it works is if somebody talk about your products, your competitors' products or something, it monitors all of those discussions, right? Then you can, because it's not everything you will know about a product. It's not everything you will know about a product, right? So once they talk about this thing now, your own is instead of you going to search. So these two have been able to listen to that conversation and then you get to read it. Sometimes they are important, sometimes some of those things they say are irrelevant, but anything about your product or industry trend, it just listens and then gives you the information. So these are things you need to understand before you conduct your user research. So the minimum user research response before starting to build, especially if you're building a new product, right? A good baseline is at least 30 to 50 user response across various research, across your user survey, your online survey, yeah, right? Before starting your development. So let's say for example, your MVP now, you want to build an MVP. You need to do at least 15 to 30 interviews. 15 is even too small. 30 to 50 interviews and survey, right? And then for your usability testing, you can now do 15, right? You can do 15 for your usability testing. That's for your MVP. Don't worry, we are going to talk about what an MVP is. Proper. You will really understand what an MVP is. But like I said, it's the smallest thing you can give to people that still give them value, right? While collecting feedback and then iterating on it for it to get better, right? That's what an MVP is. But we'll definitely there's a topic around specifically for MVP. We'll go deep into it. And then for future validation, we have if you want to do validate a future A/B testing or behavior analytics, you need 100+ users for meaningful insight. So when I mean future validation, that means of course you have started going. This one is not a new product anymore. You've gotten a certain numbers of users. Let's say WhatsApp now, for instance. If you go and tell them about something, let's say you want a what crazy future can I even use now? Okay, we now on WhatsApp business, we don't have Nigerian song on our WhatsApp story. I don't know maybe why they've not changed that thing. But maybe part of the reason why they've not changed it is because people are laying complaints, but let's assume the people that are laying these complaints are not even up to five. They will not answer us because they will focus on the ones that more people are talking about. And for them to even do that thing, maybe there's a target range. WhatsApp is a very big product. So for them to say they want to build a product, I kid you not, their responses for, let's say, for example, future validation could be going to maybe like 3,000 or even 5,000 response first. Because it's a big product. Because maybe when your product is still at the startup phase, and you can be looking at like 100+ users. Do you get? Do you understand?
No, ma, please
Yes,
come
ma'am.
again.
Okay, who said no?
Michael,
Okay, so what parts didn't you understand?
the part where you were saying something about as for startup products that they are targeting 100 users and all. So I didn't really get that part. I was feeling kind of overwhelmed, so I missed it.
Okay, so I said for instance now WhatsApp. You know WhatsApp is really I, I don't want to say the whole country, the whole world uses WhatsApp, but some countries don't use WhatsApp. But more than 50 countries use WhatsApp. Do you agree with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So for products like WhatsApp now, because of they have a lot of users that are using it, for them to build something, they want to validate the minimum numbers to validate a future before they will build that future. For example, it could be 5,000. You can make a research around it. I don't know. But to help your understanding, you can make a research and ask what is the minimum number WhatsApp use before they for a future validation, before they build the product, right? But for a startup company, let's say your target audience, maybe your everything, all your total target audience is 1,000 on your or that's using your products. If 100 people say they want something in your target audience, in your customer segments, then you can now go ahead you've to build the product because it's more like you for you to validate a future, you need 100 response before you build for a small product last for like a startup company that has 1,000. All of that's what I said, for instance, right? If it's a startup, the minimum you should even use is 100, the minimum. But if
But
your
I have a,
customer base is not even up to, if your customer base is not up to, let's say it's not even up to 1,000, let's say your customer base is 200, and 50 are saying they want something too. Mind you, user research is basically you collecting feedback and then iterating it into your product. If 50 is saying we want this out of your 200 users, then fine, you can still go ahead to build that. Do you understand? So it's more like let's say 10% of your what you currently have. I don't know if you get my point. Please go ahead and speak if you have a question. Do you understand my
okay. Yes, my understand, but my understanding is based on existing product. So when it comes to building a new time, like a new product, does it necessarily mean that we would have to get um about like 100 user response? Because from the slide, right, from the slide I am seeing 50 users. But for products that is already in existence, we are saying 100. So does it necessarily mean that we would stick to 100 or 50?
So this those points, they are
I
two
just
different
I want to be sure so that I don't achieve.
points. So I said a good baseline is at least 30 to 50 user response across various research methods before starting development. So before you start development, let's say you want to build a e-commerce website. Now you want to be selling something like Jumia. You just want to start. It is very important to make research, right? If you are making this research, you need like the minimum of 30 to 50 response based on whatever you have put in your research, right? So let me quickly go back to something. So your user research now, the thing there are vital informations you ask in your user research. Informations like let's say you want to sell clothes now, right? Only clothes on that your let's say on your e-commerce on your website, you want to sell just clothes. And of course, one thing you need to understand about clothes is there are different sizes of people, right? So the thing you now do is this your research now. You want to first know the current size of people, right? So the current size of people, maybe there'll be a current baseline, the money too. You want to ask people, how much can you afford to? How much are you willing to spend on our website, on a clothing website? How much are you willing to spend? Let's say now you have five people are picking size, let's say 12, right? And then 20 people are saying that they are size 8, five people are just size 12. And then when it comes to the money aspects is those people, those five people that pick size 12, they are willing to spend 50,000 to 100,000 naira. But those people that pick size 8, they are willing to spend, let's say, 20,000 to 50,000 naira. Okay, based on what I've been saying about user research now, let's say you want to start this product, you want to build your MVP. Who will be your first target audience? Will you be targeting the size 8 people who are willing to spend 20,000 to 50,000 naira, with which they are 20 size 8 people willing to spend 20,000 to 50,000? Or will you target, when you're making this your clothes, will you target the 5 size 12 people who are willing to spend 50,000 to 100,000? Who would you want to start with first, Michael? Did anybody understand this scenario I just gave? Did anybody understand the scenario I
Yes.
gave? Okay. So, Michael, who would you be targeting first? Because I need to help you understand this thing properly. You're not saying anything, no. Still have much to cover. I think.
Sorry, I didn't get it. I was having like network glitch. So
Oh my god. Ah, so now you want me to start all over again? That was a very long description. You have, oh, you know what I'm going to do? Let's do it like this to save time because we have just like 9 minutes left, and I'm sure some of you are already getting really exhausted. This is like a 2 hours class. What you're going to do for me is make a research on um types of things required in a user research for a new product, right? And then before starting development, that's what I mean by new products. Once you make this your research, also ask ChatGPT too that what is the minimum response for these things. Now, once you've been able to do this research, in our next class, because from the look of things, it's like we'll be having a live class. I'm not sure. I'm going to communicate it with Christopher this evening, and then he's going to get back to you. So please, maybe you will have to clear your schedule, but definitely to be in the nights, of course, when everybody's back. We'll be having like maybe a 1 hour to 45 minutes class so that we can finish up this, right? Oh wait, so Michael, please, we would now then talk deeper on that because I know a lot of people will be really tired. It's more than 2 hours now. Is that fine? Let me just quickly brush up user research. Is that okay? Michael.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's fine. Thank
All
you.
right. Yeah. Okay. So the next thing we will be discussing is using data analytics tools to understand your user behavior. You of course you've heard me speak when I tell you, oh, I will look into the data, oh, I will look into the data to know certain things. Yeah, so all of those things are basically they're called data analytics to understand what your user behavior. So what is user behavior? This refers to the action, patterns, decision making process of users when interacting with a product, website, or services. So it encompasses everything from how your users will navigate from the website, the time they spend on the page, their clicking pattern, their purchase decision, how they respond to different design elements, right? So your user behavior is analyzed to understand what users do, their preference, their pain points, and overall experience. This information help business optimize their products, improve user experience, and then increase conversion rates. I want you to know that if you go on your WhatsApp status, if you want to upload something on your WhatsApp status, if let's say on WhatsApp now, 10,000 people is spending, let's say, 3 minutes in trying to update their WhatsApp status, right? WhatsApp will know that these people are spending 3 minutes to do this thing. And whereas when they set up this product, it's supposed to be something you can do in 1 minute. And then everybody's spending, majority of their users are spending 3 minutes in doing that thing. It's a problem for them because that is not how they set it, right? So they will look into the analytics to see how you people are navigating it, right? They can see what are the things you are pressing, and maybe those things you are pressing is not even what you're supposed to press, and then they will now understand that they can also do user interview to they can also do usability testing again, right? To understand why are people spending so much time in doing this thing, whereas it's supposed to be a 1 minute thing. So analytics will basically help people, the organization understand your behavior. Like, how are you using this product? How, how are you spending so much time? Are you spending so much time in posting status? Are you spending so much time in um maybe navigating something, or you want to buy something on Jumia now, you get to your checkout point. They're seeing this thing on your checkout point, for example, on your analytics. We can see that um this person has purchased, he has selected everything, but when he got to checkout, he's spending more than 5 minutes there. We can tell that if somebody's spending 5 minutes there, you can tell that there's a problem. Why? So all of these things, your analytics will make the organization understand your behavior when you use this product, right? So um some key aspects, it's not every product managers that do this user behavior thing, because if, for example, if you are not the kind of person, remember we spoke about special spe- um what's the word, especially if you want to specialize yourself in certain roles, right? Let's say you are going into the growth phase, you of course you need to be somebody that enjoys analytics. So there are people that don't really enjoy these analytic things, and that's why some people will just dive into the technical part of product management, right? Because they're not ready to start reading patterns. So when you read patterns, you need to come up with possible solution based on those patterns of things, right? So in some organizations, you find yourself doing this, while in some organization they hire data analytics person to do it, right? So you understand key aspects of user behaviors like navigation patterns, click behaviors, time on page, right? Okay, so there's actually a difference between user behavior and user research. They are not the same thing. Your user research will focus on your action. Your user behavior will focus on the actions, like the things you do on the products, while your user research will only focus on your intentions, your frustrations, and your expectations, not what you are doing in the app, not your actions, right? So your actions for user behavior could be click navigation, drop off points, maybe when you're supposed to click on checkouts and then to make your final payment. Let's say you have input on your card, so you to click on approve. You did not now click that approve and you have put in on your card. Those are drop off points. So your user behavior analytics will tell you all of these things, right? So use cases for user behavior would be identifying usability issues, conversion drop-offs, and then engagement trends. You can tell how people are not using this today. This let's say in January, people are using your products very well, and then in February, they're not using your products very well, right? So engagement trends is part of your user behavior. Conversion drop-off, like I just give an instance, you've put in all of your cards, and then just to click on that purchase, you did not click on it. That's a drop off point, right? And then for your user research, use cases will be uncovering or meet needs, product market fit, and user pain points, right? When you don't meet up with what people are telling you, those are use cases. When your product is not getting to market fit, those are use cases where you need to do user research, and then user pain points as well. So using data analytics tools to understand user behavior. Remember, we already talked about the tools you can use for your user research, right? And then the types of user research, we also said that. So now let's talk about user behavior. What are the tools you can use to um understand user behaviors, right? You can use Google Analytics. So you can use Google Analytics to get insight into traffic source. That is, where are people coming from? You have done ads on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Now you can use your Google Analytics. Now you can see where people are coming from based on where when you have done these ads. If it's people are coming more from YouTube than Instagram, if people are coming more from YouTube than Instagram to your products, to use your products, of course you will spend your money more on YouTube instead of Instagram, because you can tell that your target audience are not on Instagram, they are more on YouTube, right? You can also use Google Analytics to um, get insight on your user journey. How are people navigating on your product when they come to your product after onboarding? The first thing they're supposed to do, which is like the activation point. Let's say, for example, the activation point is to create a ride now on boats. The activation point is to request for a trip, a ride. You can use your Google Analytics when a new user come into your product. You can use your analytics to know how users are moving in your product. If the goal is for them to request a ride and then they're not going to request a ride, they are going to setting or something, because setting is more visible, there's a problem, because that's not what's supposed to be there, right? You can also use your Google Analytics to get engagement metrics. What is the most things that people use in our products, or what is the most item people even purchase this month? That's if it's for an e-commerce website like Jumia, right? Or Amazon. And then Mixed Panel too is similar to Google Analytics. You can use Mixed Panel to track users' actions, to understand future uses and then retention patterns, right? I'm more conversant with Mixpanel actually than Google Analytics. And then we have Hotjar. So what Hotjar does is it uses heat maps and session recording to identify what usability issues and areas for improvement. So this one mostly is maybe you have done a prototype already before it is made by the designers, before it is being developed. You want to see how because you want to see how people interact with these things. They don't even understand it before developers go to build it, because you build a product and then people don't understand it. That is where the wasted time and resources, time and money come in place, right? Then we have Adobe Analytics too. It provides real-time tracking and predictive analytics. So over time, you start to see how you can avoid certain things based on what you have. So I have an example here. I said an e-commerce company see a high bounce rate on product pages. So they use mixed panel to reveal that users abandon the page after failing to find customer review, prompting them to display review more prominently. So what it means here is, on this e-commerce page, let's say Ujumia, I want to buy, which happens to us too now. Even me, it happens to me on Temo. If I want to buy a clothes and then I don't see any review on that item, I don't buy it. Do you get? But for this scenario now, what they're saying here is they did not even find any review section at all, right? So they had to display a come up with a review section in that product where people can actually go there and place and write review for the product. Okay, just 2 more slides and then we are done. So sorry, it's exceeding our time, please. So we have the importance of empathy and user-centric design in product development. As a product manager, you need to be very empathetic because you are putting yourself in, you're wearing your user's shoes, more like you're feeling their pains too, right? So we said empathy in product management means deeply understanding the user's emotions, behavior, and challenges to create solutions that truly address their needs. That's why I said it's more like you're wearing the same shoe that they are wearing, like you're putting yourself in their shoes. So you need to be very empathetic. When you are doing something, you don't just think it as a what's up? Just give me like 15 minutes, please. So you need to be very empathetic, right? Um, sorry, I got distracted. So yeah, you need to be able to put in their shoes. When you're solving a problem, look at it like it is you that is suffering it. It is you that's also having that pain. Look at it, let's say you are working in a fintech, you're working on a fintech problem product. Look at it like if this transaction does not go, how would you feel? How would you how would you feel? How frustrated will you be if you're trying to send the money and then the money is not going in 5 minutes or it's hanging? So you have to be very empathetic that you will now create a solution because you know how frustrating that thing is. So you want to create solution that when that problem come, it has already been addressed. It doesn't that problem will not even come because it has already been addressed, right? So what are the benefits of being empathetic as a product manager in creating a user-centric product? So some of the benefits is encourages inclusion designs that accommodates diverse users' needs. It strengthens brand loyalty by making users feel heard and valued. Because I don't know if that's ever happened to you when there's something you really want, and then one day you just see this thing and you be like, hey, that is what I want. That thing has really been frustrating me. But all of a sudden you just see a product that is solving it. You get it just makes you feel very, very valued, especially if it's a product that you are even using, right? And then they came up with a possible solution for it. And then it reduces wasted resources by ensuring that team build the right future. So for example, I said Airbnb improve host trust by adding a feature that allow guests to verify their identity. Right? Maybe there were nothing to track the user before. Like maybe no NIN or other things you can use to know this user. But when they input that feature in their product that addresses host concerns about renting to strangers. So yeah, questions and answer, and then it's a wrap. So have you ever filled out a survey for a product? If yes, what made you complete it or abandon it? Let's go. Who's going first? Okay, Michael. After Michael. Yes, go on, Michael.
Okay.
After Michael.
I
You
feel
go next. Okay.
so I feel it's a reform, and for some, why I completed one of the reasons why I completed some is because the surveys are not long. They're not too long for me to start going through. Then there is a like most of them is Google form, and then there is a progress bar that shows me the extent I've gone so far, my progress of filling the form. So I know when the form is going to come to an end. And most times, because of those things, because of the lack of those things, I tend to abandon some forms.
Okay. Abdullah, can you please go next? Have you ever feel a survey for a product? If yes, what made you complete it or abandon it? I have caught Abdullah today. Abdullah does not attend our class. One person course. Akinyele Musumola, can you answer the question?
I've not filled any survey for a product before. Like I can't remember of one.
Are you
Um,
sure?
I can't remember.
So
Maybe when
nobody
I
have
think
actually.
about it. When I think about it. But for now, um I'm not sure. But maybe when I think about it, I'm going to write it down if I remember. Cause
Okay, Deborah, how about you? Deborah, how about you? Okay, next question. If you're designing an app for a student, how would you gather insights about their needs? If you're designing an app for a student, not everybody, please, for a student, how would you gather insights about their needs? What would you do? Let me call names. Olawale, what would you do to gather their needs? Okay, Deborah is even here. Deborah, what would you do? Okay, I think I made mention of her name. If you're speaking, I can't hear you, Deborah. Olawale, before Michael, I want Olawale to speak. Sorry, Michael. Like I saw you. Sorry, I want Olawale to speak. Okay, go ahead and type, please. I would be reading.
Okay, it will depend on the problem I'm solving concerning the student.
Yes, let's say there's one problem. Let's say you're trying to solve the problem of their inability to stay consistent in reading. How would you gather insights about getting them to be consistent in reading and motivated?
I'll do more research on that.
Yes, you make research, but how would you gather these insights? Okay, you do more research on that. Yes, you do more research. How would you do the research?
Yeah, by sending out survey questions
If you are
to
sending out survey questions, okay, to who? Who would you be sending out the survey questions?
but you're breaking the that will
Who
be
would you
to
be
my
sending?
target audience, which my target audience will be who that will be the students,
Okay,
probably in a particular campus also.
okay, okay. Michael, Thank you, Wale. Michael, do you want to speak?
Okay, sorry, I've been speaking. What I would do if I was to design an app for a student is, first of all, I will look at the competitors around that field. Then after that, I get insights right from them. I understand what they are currently doing on that space. And after that, what I would do is to conduct a user research. Um, how do I conduct this research? First of all, I will prepare a Google form and then send it out to schools. I might go meet their is it proprietor they call them, or VC or what, the owner of the schools. I talk to them, and then I also have one-on-one interviews with the students in the schools. So that will help me to gain strong insight on what they actually want, and then guide me when I am building an app for them that would solve their problem. Thank you.
Okay. So the last question: why do you think some websites track user behavior with heat map or heat session? Just bust my brain. Who's that person that raised his hand? Jonathan, please just bust my brain. Let me know.
Okay, the reason is that they want to see how users interact with their sites. They want to understand where do users actually go, where do they click, and where do they stop reading or stop going through the app or the product. Which part of the product confuse people, and where do these users drop off while using the product. So these are the things they want to track, so that when they see these things, they can easily fix those issues and improve layout and improve how the users interact with the product.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Thank you. Okay, I've I've eaten 40 minutes out of your time, and I sincerely apologize. But this is actually our last this thing. See that the slides are not much, but we'll have to schedule a time, right? Maybe during the week, maybe I don't know. I'm going to reach out to Christopher this night, and then he's going to let you guys know so that you help me please put me in your schedule. You give me 45 minutes of your time in the evening, maybe for example on Wednesday by 7 p.m., right, or 8 p.m. I don't know, to just quickly like wrap this up, right? We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slides to cover. I don't want to do this now because I know a lot of you will be tired. 2 hours is a lot. I don't want to force things to just go into your head. So for our next class, we'll just be talking about identifying and prioritizing problems, right? Yeah. So before I wrap this up, any question before we call it a night? Any question? Do you have any question for me? Because I have asked you my own questions. Do you have any question for me? Are we all saying we understood today's class? Please react to an emoji if you know you understood today's class. If you do not react, it's obvious you do not understand. And then I'm going to call you and ask you, what is that part you do not understand? 3 people have reacted. Beatrice 4 out of 12 people. So the remaining people, you don't understand my class or what? Jonathan has reacted. Okay, 5. Deborah says, okay, okay. Okay, okay, good. Amazing. All right, thank you guys so much for attending today's class. I really appreciate. And then please do well to reach out to me if you don't understand anything. If I were you, one thing I'm going to start doing, don't wait till when the class before don't wait till when it gets to your capstone project. Look for a problem. Um Maybe you're a kind of person that procrastinates a lot. right? Ask yourself, do I want to build a website for this? Okay, if you want to build a website for it, fine. I've already taught you guys how to identify the importance of identifying problems and the likes, right? Okay, this is identifying problems. We spoke about product thinking sense. How would you improve your product thinking sense from last week class? Look into it, pick your problem that you have solved. The next thing is to start to gather user research, make user research. We spoke about user research. Do user research for that problem that you want to solve, right? Once you've been able to do your research, user research, of course you will get problems for them. And then maybe before the end of this when we do our class, you'll be able to now be able to prioritize this problem that your users have come up with. And then from there, like for every classes, try to practice these things, right? That's the only way it can get better, honestly. If you're saying you want to wait till when it is capstone project time and then you want to start putting all of this, it's very tiring, it's very hectic. So the earlier the better for you. We see one thing with product management, it's not like developers that um it's not like developers that you are coding, you are practicing as they are teaching you. You can also do that for product management, but the real work comes in the real life scenario when they give you a product to do, and then you know that all this talk that I'm doing, it's where you start to um practicalize things, right? So please don't wait till capstone project time. Start to practice. Michael, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, man. So first of all, I want to thank you for this session. Um, it's it has helped me in one way or the other in a lot of ways. Actually, I think I now understand the need of user research, why brands or products fail, in what to expect in while conducting a user research. Right. So I want to say thank you very much. And I also want to remind you that I sent you a message on Slack and I'm still waiting for your response, ma. Thank you, ma.
Okay, you are really welcome. That's my number. Can you please just send me a WhatsApp message? I'm sorry. I'm trying to set up that stack thing. I don't have it on my phone. It's on my laptop, and then I've been trying to set it up. I don't know what's happening. You can send me a message there on WhatsApp. I just dropped my number on the chat box. Did you hear me? Hello.
Hello, ma.
Yeah, I dropped my number on the chat box. You can send me a message.
All right, ma. I will do that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, guys. Bye, everybody. See you in our next class. Please help me to create time in your schedule. As I have said, we might have a class this week. We might. I'm not sure. We might, please. I'll let you guys know this night. All right. Bye, guys.